Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Julia McNeil Crafts. So today I'm going to try something different. I've just invested in this product here. I think it's pronounced Sospeso Trasparente, but it allows you to make little plastic flowers. So I've been having a little play. It kind of feels like a bit like acetate, but it's mouldable like shrink plastic, but it doesn't shrink. So I've had a little play with different things. You're supposed to be able to use it with rice papers and with fabric. I couldn't actually find my fabrics to give it a try. That's a rice paper one, and I've used Decopatch paper. But anyway, I thought I'd just have a little play. I'm not pretending to be an expert because I've literally just purchased this, but I thought I would have a little try and see what you think. So if you've never come across it, it might be informative. If you have and you're an expert, please let me know, because any tips would be most welcome. So first of all, for this one here, what I did was I played a little bit with alcohol inks on it because it's a glossy surface. Now, this probably isn't the cheapest way of doing it, but the only alcohol inks I have are refills for my Copic markers. So if this is a technique that I start to love and enjoy, I think I will be investing in some cheaper alcohol inks. I finished my sentence. I've just decided to put a bit of paper there because I've just realised permanent alcohol inks and my beautiful mat, and I don't really want to affect that. So I'm just going to put some alcohol inks into that. Those colours are quite similar, but we will mix it up. This is so much fun doing this, I've discovered. I've never really played with alcohol inks like this before, but it's difficult to know when to stop. So I've kind of got colours that will blend and make new pretty colours and not mud. I did have a blue in there as well, and the results weren't overly brilliant. And then what I've got is I've got some isopropyl or rubbing alcohol. I actually got mine from Maplins. It would be very strange if Maplin was selling alcohol ink. I need to let that dry and move a little bit. Sorry. Just gonna let that move a little bit because it's not really playing as magically as I was hoping. It's kind of boring, and my hand's in the way. Right. Spread that about a little bit. Actually, I just have that as a base, kind of. So I'll just spread that about because it just wasn't working. But hey ho. Right. Wow, Julia, this is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh dear. Let's hope you've not all turned off. Right. Magic will happen. There we go. So I've got my isopropyl, which I got from Maplins, which of course now in the UK is no longer in existence, but I do believe you can get it in the likes of, I think you can get it off Amazon and stuff like that. I think you can get it off chemists, but I'm not particularly sure. So the isopropyl, because it's pure alcohol, is just reacting with the alcohol that's already there, and you get these really kind of cool shapes. And then what you can do is you can pop back in with different colours and kind of create all sorts of patterns. It kind of does its own thing, so if you like it, stop. Because it does its own thing, so you're not quite sure what it's going to do, but it's fun. So yeah, you can keep layering it like that. You can keep adding more colours. That pink's kind of just blended into that, but then if you push it back, because the pink is there, I don't know if you can see that, as the cell's growing there, we've got pink on one side and the orange on the other side. So putting that drop of pink in hasn't been a waste. It has just contributed to a different effect. And as I said, for this it's kind of really hard to know when to stop playing, but if you get something that you like, then stop. So having a little play with that. So I found out that it does react to these alcohol inks very well, and you can create then almost like a background thing that you can use for stamping different images. Right, I'm going to stop because otherwise we could have an hour's video of me just adding more alcohol and ink and more alcohol to that and it never getting any further. Whilst it's interesting for a few seconds, I don't suppose an hour's worth will be overly interesting. So I'll just move that to the side. Woo. And here's one that I prepped earlier. So with this, I tried two different techniques. One of them I just stamped with plain Stays On ink. I've got a stamp here from Polka Doodles. So I've just stamped it like that and then cut it out. With the second technique, I wasn't sure how it was going to work because this stuff reacts with heat in order for you to shape it. So I wasn't sure if it would work using embossing powder, but I gave it a try and it was okay. You do kind of have to be aware that you're going to have a little bit of control with it, but we'll see how we go. So what I did was just got my Versamark and gave that a little stamp. Now I prepped this background yesterday, so it should be nice and dry, because obviously be aware that the alcohol inks will stay sticky for quite some time. So you do have to be a bit careful of that. And then I'm going to sprinkle the gold embossing powder on it. Okay. And you'll see what I mean about it. There's a bit of movement when you try to emboss it, but you can just about keep it under control enough. As I said, this is a fairly new technique to me, so sorry my squeaky chair, I forgot to change my chair. My husband's like, you can't record with that chair, it will drive everybody mad. So if I'm driving you mad, I am sorry. And I will try and change my my chair for next time. Okay, so I've got this here and I'm going to try and emboss it. Now normally you heat this stuff with a candle, which I'll be showing you later. So as you can see, there's a bit of movement, but it's brief enough that you can just about still manage to emboss. Just burning my hand a little there. So I have managed to emboss that. Now that is hot plastic now, so I've managed to get that, which is quite cool. So the other technique, I will shape all of these in a bit. The other technique that you can use is with rice paper. So I was a little bit disappointed with my rice paper. Where's my rice paper one? Because this stuff kind of ends up really nice and shiny, which is lovely. Hang on, see if I can hold that a bit closer to the camera without it going too blurry for you. And the rice paper was quite dull. So what I did was I tried using it with the clear, but what I did was I put the image face down. So I've got a bit of Stamperia rice paper. I don't normally cut my rice paper, I normally kind of use water, but as I'm going to be cutting out the flower anyway, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then I've got a little bit of Decopatch medium from Pen Tart, and as I said, what I was going to do in this instance is put it face down, because it seemed to, that way when you heat it you still get the shine of the product. I'll be able to resurrect the other ones. I'll use some sort of glitter or some sort of medium Nuvo drops or something like that to get a shine. But I kind of wanted to work with you know, the product, and I think that is one of the unique features of the product, is that you've got that really glossy finish. So when I didn't have it, I was a bit disappointed. In the right project it'll be fine, I will still use all of the stuff I've made. So I've just done that, and then I would leave that to dry. And then one last technique before I start heating. Sorry, I'm just trying to find where I've put my water so that my paintbrush doesn't turn into a stick like I did with the one yesterday. And finally, I just stamped directly onto it. Now, I'm just going to use my StazOn. I tried a Memento with this, and it didn't make much difference when colouring with alcohol markers because it was a shiny movable surface anyway. So my marker still got picked up the ink with Memento, and actually the StazOn kind of dries better on that. So with this, I literally just took my Copic markers and coloured them in. Now, I love Copic colouring, and I'm used to being able to blend nicely, and I think you just have to appreciate that is not going to happen with this. Do you like that? It's nice and squeaky, isn't it? And as you can see, I'm picking up a bit of the black there, but that happened when I used the Memento ink as well, so you're just going to have to go with it. What I did do, I'll not colour the whole flower because that'll take ages. What I did do is just have a little sheet here, and I've scribbled the contamination out, so I've not wrecked my pens. Now, you can't get the same nice blended effect as if you were colouring on appropriate Copic paper, but I just put in a little bit of darker colour as well. And then because alcohol moves, as we saw with the little thing I started off with, that I was actually just kind of working with that and creating like a polka dot effect. Okay, so that's one. And the other technique I used was the Jane Davenport paint over pens. So these gave a much more opaque look. They coloured well. That gave it good coverage, but it did crack slightly when I heated it up. So as I said, the paint over pens worked quite well. So you are going to have to go for some sort of permanent colouring products, like your alcohol markers or paints. Things like pencils, the surface is too shiny, there's no tooth, so it's not going to work, and again, the watercolour isn't going to dry in it. So you are going to have to look at things that are permanent. Now, apparently you can also do this technique with fabric. I couldn't actually find my box with spare fabric in it, so I've not tried that, but if I manage to get hold of it and give it a go, or if I learn any new techniques as I go along, I will let you know. Now, I have discovered some of the things that I've made, I prefer doing it with the flame. So you are supposed to do this with a flame. Seems very strange lighting candles because I'm in the loft, you know, so let's hope I don't burn the house down. So you get a flame, just stick that on my water tube because I don't want to burn the place down. Let's hope that flame does. So, sorry, I am not finishing my words properly. Right, so I have, this was the one that I coloured with my Copic markers. I actually just coloured it in, and it just kind of goes a bit soft like that, and while it's soft you take it onto your mat and shape it. So if you've done any flower shaping, you know, with your die cut flowers and things like that, or stamped images, and you shape it with your flowers, exactly the same techniques, it's just with a slightly different product. So I don't know if you can see that, it kind of softens it slightly, and then you can shape it up. It's very strange. It is cool. When I saw it, I had to try it because I could see so many applications for this. It's going to be absolutely fantastic on mixed media projects. You could create your own things for jewellery. You could turn your stamps into lovely jewellery because it is plastic. It has a plastic, you know, it's durable like plastic, because it is. So it's amazing. It's really fun. So I'll maybe not heat all of these up because, you know, it's once you've seen it. So we're just literally heating it up, and then when it goes a bit soft, you shape it. So it does react to heat, so you can do it with your heat gun, which I have done with some of them. And actually for some of the techniques I prefer using my heat gun. I'll show you that in a minute. You don't get the same ability to get as dramatic a shaping as you do when you've got the intense heat of the flame. And as I said, I'm no expert. I literally just got it out of its packet yesterday, had a little play, tried different things to see what happened. Some things I liked, some things I didn't. So I've still got lots more to learn. If I happen to learn any more new techniques, I will share them. Or if you have any, I would love it if you would share it with me. I think that's the thing with the crafty community, isn't it? We all share each other's ideas and inspiration and techniques. Oops, and we all interpret it a different way now. That's kind of gone the wrong way. When I shape a flower, I kind of do the petals one way and then I do the inset the other. So I just want to heat that again. See, it goes all floppy. So while it's floppy like that, that's when it's malleable, and I want to just kind of get in there. And as you can see, I've got a beautiful shaped flower, and I think what would be quite cool is you could do lots of them and really layer them up and get a very dramatic piece. So that's one technique. That's made with a paint over pen, which will look the same. This was with the rice paper, but I've done it, this is when I did it on the white, I can't remember what it's called, Sospeso, and so I tend to find the finished thing was a bit, wasn't a bigger one, a bit dull. Okay. That's going to take a while to do, and I'm seeing the time on the video already. So what I'll just finish off with, I thought I had one with embossing powder prepped, but clearly I don't, so I'll just quickly cut this one out. So what I did with this is I've cut it out. Now this is the one where I prefer to use my heat gun, and the other one that I prefer to use my heat gun on is when I used it on the clear stuff, because I noticed that when I heated it with the flame, so I'll maybe just turn this out because the next couple are going to be heat gun ones. When I did it with the flame, what I found was, I can't see it, and I also think I'm going down with a cold, so my throat seems to be a little bit dry and croaky, so I'm sorry for the hymns in between. I could do with a cup of tea or something. Okay. Why is it when you want to do something quickly it doesn't happen? Normally I'm fairly quick at fussy cutting. I do enough of it. I think also as well there's a bit of, this is a bit shaped already. Oops. So I'm not doing a completed project today. I'm just literally playing with this new product. And hopefully what I will have is one of the next videos that I do, I will do a mixed media project where I will have used some of this stuff. So as I said, with this one I like to use the heat gun. Where's the one? That's one where I use the heat gun, and the one where I use the flame, I don't know, it just didn't seem to respond well. Because obviously the embossing powder has already been heated, and it doesn't like too much heat. Once it's embossed, that's it. So what I found is that if I just give it a really light heating, it still goes soft like that, and you can still give it a bit of a shape. Oops, she says. Now I've lost all the shape. You can still give it a bit of a shape. So so you do get something from it, but I found the flame when you've already embossed it was a bit intense. And the other one that I like to do with my heat gun was the clear. When I did it on the clear, what I got was, sorry, my throat. What I found was that the plastic bubbled slightly, and to me that just took away from the glossy finish that I wanted. So you don't get as much ability to manipulate as much with the heat gun. It doesn't get it quite hot enough, but you can do a little bit. And the other thing is you can kind of go back in and sort of reheat. If it's not quite how you like it, you can get in and do it again. So that's that one there. So not quite sure how to wrap this up because I don't have a completed project, but these are some of the flowers that I have made. Oh, that one still needs to be done. That one there I used like a Decopatch paper, and again that's maybe one I would do on the clear instead now having learnt. So these are my lovely little bits. I hope if this is a new product to you that you find this interesting. And yeah, so that's me for just now, and I'm hopefully will be back very soon with a mixed media project. Take care then. Bye. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye.